wish list. You fighting a titan. I got a bullet in the chamber just ready to strike him. Check him off like a wish list. You fighting a titan. Yeah. I got a bullet in the chamber just ready to strike him.
If I told him once, I told him enough. I'm out the heads, there's no discussion, not a game nor a bluff. Yo, I would go insane just to make a point and leave him stuck. And the point of the matter is that all these niggas is butt. Do the water backsplash, funky mouth ass niggas that still talking shit. Back cause I ain't hung up my mic and called it quits while they slept. I was up through the night, plotting to get rich. No black forces, not hitting no licks. What? Cause niggas fold like steel chairs. Amped up that drip in they neck, got them yelling like Ric Flair. Please beware this mighty boot to the chest, leave him gasping for air. No Vader, but I'm here to bomb shit like Big Van Vader, but black. Fuck around and put motherfuckers' heads in the bag like I was slack. Cause these stupid motherfuckers really don't get the message. This the best little wrestling podcast in Texas. Motherfuckers,
check them off like a wish list.
Yeah.
You fighting a titan.
Cause these stupid motherfuckers really don't get the message.
I got a bullet in the chamber just ready to strike him.
Yeah.
Check them off like a wish list. You fighting a titan.
This the best little wrestling podcast in Texas.
I got a bullet in the chamber just ready to strike him.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. It is the 1st of August, and we're here with your weekly update on the wrestling world. With me today is Needles Kane. You know him, you love him. How we doing?
Doing good.
Word up. So, big news, top of the news, biggest story of the week. They released Bray Wyatt.
Man, that's wild, dude. I still can't really actually believe that they. I mean, I can and I can't, I guess. They haven't been doing shit with him.
Well, yeah, but he just got medically cleared.
I don't think that means anything to them anymore. I mean, if you look at the history of it, dude, I mean, especially now that they brought in this Nick Khan dude who's like just cutting motherfuckers left and right.
Yeah, I forgot.
Dude, I mean, think about it. They pumped all that money into Aleister Black to like give him a new intro song, repackage his whole ass gimmick, and then fucking he was on TV. He was on TV the week before, and then they just cut it. You know what I mean? So for them to cut Bray Wyatt, I don't know. He's historically been misbooked, like his whole fucking career. Like every time that he should have got over, they fucking buried him. So. And you want to talk about, like, they had probably one of the hottest gimmicks going around whenever they let him do the Playhouse and
the whole Wyatt family.
Yeah, well, no, not even the Wyatt family. Whenever they did, like, fucking Bray Wyatt's Funhouse and then The Fiend and shit like that.
Yeah. When he came back before Alexa Bliss got involved.
Yeah, they really could have.
Well, we all know that they buried him at Hell in a Cell with all that.
That was the most ridiculous shit I had ever seen in my life, and I was alive when the gobbledygooker was a thing. So, like, it's just like how they could build him up so strong, and then let Seth Rollins just. And it was ugly. Like it wasn't even a good like stoppage or whatever the fuck in a no DQ match. That whole thing was so goddamn. It was more complicated than a goddamn Chinese intersection. You know what I mean? And it just didn't need to be. They should have just had the Fiend run through Seth Rollins and like a lot of blood. They wouldn't have seen it in the red light. You know what I mean? They should have just done that completely different and then just kept Bray Wyatt on top forever.
Well,
not forever. I mean, honestly, this making Bobby Lashley champion would have been a great monster to put against a monster.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Fiend versus Bobby Lashley. Dude, that would have been awesome. And they could have booked it like, Lashley's this fucking monster killer dude who's just been like ran through Braun Strowman, ran through all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ran through Drew McIntyre, ran through all these big ass fucking folks, and now he's got to deal with this fucking super beast.
You speak about what they should have done with a bloody match than a Hell in a Cell. There's been a lot of blood this week in wrestling. There's been a lot of blood on national TV in wrestling, and then some people aren't liking it. Some people are loving it. I happen to be a lover of it. I think Domino's is a fool. You're a fool, Domino's. You should have
for real.
behind it. Now we got Pabst Blue Ribbon behind it. I'm about to go throw my Bud Light out of my fridge and go buy a 12-pack of Bud Pats, and we're gonna call it a day.
Dude, I really hope that we start seeing some Pabst Blue Ribbon commercials during AEW television.
Please buy the ad space Pabst.
You know what I mean?
Well worth it.
But yeah, dude. I mean, just Nick Gage.
Nick Gage has had a hell of a week losing, but he's never shined so bright losing.
I mean, dude. You know what's crazy is how much shit a lot of people really give Nick Gage. They're like, oh, he's a fucking former drug addict and fucking bank robber and shit. Why do people not believe in like rehabilitation anymore? It's like you fucking consistently stuck as who you were before. And it's like this dude got out of prison and really like decided to make a change and do something with his fucking career. And now that he's getting over, people like Jim Cornette want to shit on him for I don't know because he made some
salt.
Yeah, well, I mean, he just wants to be edgy for edgy's sake.
Nobody cares about Jim Cornette's opinion at this point. And if you do, you're ancient and you're probably a fucking racist.
No, I'm not gonna take anything away from fucking Jim Cornette. The dude is, a virtual wellspring of wrestling knowledge. He's been in the industry for decades. He was a part of some of the biggest parts of our childhood. The man knows wrestling, but he knows
having a wealth of knowledge is different than having a shitty opinion.
I mean, man, we're all allotted our shitty opinions, dude. You know what I mean?
He has every right to have one.
Everybody has a right to have a shitty opinion, and he just has the platform to be able to voice it to millions of fucking people. That those people will parrot. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's neither here nor there. I don't really give a shit what Jim Cornette has to say. Yeah. Sometimes I listen. He has a really good idea of how a match should be put together and ran. And I think he has a really good point about a lot of the finishes in wrestling these days. And, a lot of the fucking dudes clustering up on the side for all the suicide dives and shit. I think he has a pretty valid point with some of that shit. But then the other bullshit that he says, I really don't try to even fucking listen to because it's just bullshit.
Well, speaking about redemptions and Nick Gage, Matt Cardona, new champion. That match was amazing. That entire card was amazing. The whole Scorpio the whole joint routine with
Grim Reaper and Too
Cold Scorpio.
I have rewatched that match more than any other match on that card because you know what, man? It is just really
old man
beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Too Cold Scorpio
near the respect he deserves.
Well, no, it's because he won't shut his fucking mouth sometimes. He just talks a bunch of shit, but Too Cold Scorpio is a badass, man, and he's fucking 55 years old or something.
Yeah, 55.
Dude, I was just watching Raw, one of the Raws from '96 the other day, and he made his debut as Flash Funk, the pimp, in WWF, and I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot all about Too Cold Scorpio being in WWF. And now he's doing shit in GCW, smoking joints, smoking weed in the ring. Just crazy, man.
What world we live in.
Dude, and that whole spot with the joint was just fucking chef's kiss. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it didn't flow like water or anything, but just all the little spots they hit with it was just real fucking nice, man. And I go back and I watch it and I just smile because it's fucking amazing. And yeah. At the end when he resuscitates him with a joint in his mouth and shit, dude, it just doesn't get.
He's like, better. Man, I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, that was a
It
good
just
match.
gets a lot. And then, like, Alex Colon losing the GCW Ultraviolent
Now
championship to Drew Parker,
two
who
titles.
just won the Big Japan Deathmatch Heavyweight Championship in Japan the night before, which makes him only the third Gaijin to win that belt. And I think the other two were Zandig and Abdullah the Butcher. So that's a pretty elite class of death
Of
matches
death matches, yeah, death
to
match
be in.
champions.
And considering you look at their whole list of other deathmatch heavyweight champions, and it's all Japanese dudes, so you got to put some respect on Drew Parker's name, especially for flying from Japan in to do get off the plane, go to the venue in New Jersey, wrestle in glass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the very next night, he wrestles Jimmy Lloyd in another death match. It's just insane, dude. 3 nights in a row, you're just rolling around in glass, getting busted in the face with light tubes. The man is, yeah, dude. The man is committed, and yeah, like they can't be making that much money.
No,
it's just the sheer dedication of those dudes.
You're not making money being a deathmatch wrestler. Period.
But dude, you don't see fans get connected like they do at a death match. Like every GCW show, dude, it's just amazing. The fans banging on the mat and shit. Like that kind of stuff is what makes GCW shows exciting to me. Is all the fan interaction.
GCW has the best fans.
They walk through the crowd, and if the crowd hates them, they're all in their face with their middle fingers and shit.
Dude,
like
Matt
that.
Cardona got the fuck out of that building.
I cannot believe. I don't. So sometimes, like, I'm just blown away, shocked, speechless, because I really didn't think Matt Cardona was going to win that championship. I really thought Nick Gage was going to win that match. I thought he was just going to carve Matt Cardona up, and this was going to be like a one-off circus sideshow type of.
Yeah, well, like how
match.
Matt Cardona came into AEW for a couple matches and it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was just a little payday for him to come.
Well,
which it very well still could be. This is only week 1.
Yeah.
So
he's been on Impact, since then, in a pretty big feud with Brian Myers. So it's like I don't know what the fuck he's gonna do.
Honestly, I fully expected Matt Cardona to come out and during the Jericho Gage match for the trials. I figured that's how Jericho was going to win.
Nah, I don't think like that. I don't think that would have been a. For one thing, I don't think the GCW wants their championship on AEW television. I think that's a big reason that they took the belt off Nick Gage.
Because they knew he was going to go on AEW.
Bro, look at the Impact Championship. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I find it hard to want to care about Impact because their champion is not on their roster. It's like they turned this promotion into.
But see,
it's like these dudes that are in this promotion do not even have their own championship.
I started watching Impact again because Kenny Omega's the champion.
Because I'm pretty sure the fucking Good Brothers won the Impact Tag Team Championship, right?
Yes.
And they have just been on AEW television since then. And it's
they were on Impact last week, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah. And I mean, Kenny Omega shows up on Impact every fucking week. I'm sure that's contractually
How
obligated.
long does this take until it turns into an Elite versus Bullet Club event?
Man, I don't know, dude. That's a good question because
that's where we're headed. They got Jay White on Impact, so we know
Jay White popped up. Now, whether Jay White's gonna keep wrestling on Impact or not, that's a whole different fucking ball game. Because, man, it's so weird right now. Wrestling's so wild right now. Like Tanahashi popping up on AEW, like fucking.
And now we got Lance Archer going over to Japan to defend the title, the U.S. heavyweight title.
Well, that's their title.
Yeah, I know.
The
I fully
IWGP.
expect him to
That's all
lose
their
it over
shit.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they've been wanting that belt to come back over
Lancey,
there
my
for a
boy, you're my
while.
hometown hero. Don't take it the wrong way, but I fully expect him to lose it over there.
I miss Lance Archer's
Dude,
entrances.
that match between him and fucking John Moxley live was a spectacle to see.
Dude, that was. Oh yeah, you were there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's badass. Yeah, see that. Yeah, that whole dude. I'm telling you, man, I've enjoyed AEW the last 3-4 weeks
and the numbers
pretty
are showing. The
pretty
numbers are
heavily,
proving it.
dude. Like, I really think that they've got some good stuff going. I don't like that they took Adam Page out of the contender for the belt.
I don't like the reasons they did it.
Man, they've just been fucking pressing pause on that dude for so long, and it's
Well,
like,
that's what happens when you have two big names like Daniel Bryan and CM Punk about to enter the play field.
man, look, dude, I could give zero fucks about CM Punk. Zero. I don't. I was never a fan of CM Punk, and in fact, like that whole era of wrestling with CM Punk and shit, the ruthless aggression era was when I fell off and stopped watching wrestling because I just couldn't. The whole Divas thing was getting really fucking crazy. They kept doing the Diva search, and Vince McMahon was just becoming more of a creepy old dude. It was just really like I just started not liking it. I just didn't like the product
Was
anymore.
that was
And
that
and and in all honesty, I didn't know shit about TNA. I didn't even know that shit existed. I had stumbled on it like I had stumbled onto it well after when they were near the fucking end and when it was all crazy and Vince Russo was a part of it again and shit. And I was like, oh, this is fucking terrible. So I didn't give a shit about TNA. I thought it was always terrible. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And now, like, I watch Impact and I enjoy it. I think their women's division's great. Like, I think they've got a great women's division. They've probably got the second best women's division in wrestling right now. If you don't count Stardom and all the Joshi shit that's going on in Japan, because that's a whole different fucking class of women's wrestling. Those motherfuckers get down over there.
Isn't
They
Billy Corgan about to start all women's NWA league?
I believe that Billy Corgan, I think so. I want to say that he
I
is.
think I heard something about that.
I want to say that he is. I I think I heard I think I heard rumblings of that as well. And I'm glad that I haven't seen Camille on AEW. Like it bothers me, dude. Like I don't really like the whole like I don't like another promotion having their championships wrestled for on another promotion. Like to me that's like it's like a weird line that like if your championship is up for grabs and that match is for a championship, it should be happening in your ring. In your ring.
Well, I
And
mean,
that's just how I feel about it. That's why like I like the Kenny Omega thing. Like him going around
yeah.
the whole collector thing that they're doing. I enjoy it. Like I think it's a great gimmick and I like the douchebag that they've made him. Like I think it fits real well. I think it's a good gimmick. But I don't like and he has actually only defended that championship in an Impact ring, I think. Right?
The Impact title?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think he's ever
No, he's never defended it on AEW.
So you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they're kind of doing that shit right.
But back then, whenever like Serena Deeb was defending her NWA women's title on AEW television, it's because they weren't doing NWA events because of the shit. So
Right.
they had to defend it somewhere, and they brought the NWA fans to AEW at a time when they really needed it. It was the beginning of AEW, all trying to get all eyes on us, so they defended the title on the program, and I think it did good numbers and good things for the program, for both programs. keeping NWA breathing and then breathing some life into AEW.
My problem with AEW and that whole situation is just their women's roster in general. Like that to me is one of the biggest problems with AEW.
Well,
And fucking bless Dustin Rhodes for doing what he can with those ladies. But dude, like I've watched Red Velvet almost fucking kill herself. I don't know, week after week.
I've watched Chris Statlander do it. I've watched Red Velvet do it. I've watched
fucking Britt Baker, dude. How many times has she been injured over some dumb shit?
She got a broke wrist now, right?
I believe so.
And she's like, I'm still going to compete with a broke wrist.
That's crazy. But I mean,
it's because she just came off a fucking injury. She can't afford another one.
And that is wild, dude. That like, think about how many fucking injuries there have been. And look, and this is what I'm going to continue to say is that there is a big difference, right? Like you can see why a lot of these people were just on the indies forever. And why they never really, or if they only like popped up for a fucking smoking a pancake in another promotion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can tell why a lot of them were on the indies. And they do need that training. They do need to understand like not just how to do a fucking moonsault, but like, you know, the psychology of a match. Cause it's not always like just spot to spot to spot to spot to spot. And a lot of these dudes are guilty of that. Like they just want to get their moves out there. Look how good I am. You know what I mean? And like, there's a lot of us, I know I'm like this, and I'm, you know, a few other of the people that we know, I know that they're like that too. Like they enjoy the story that's being told in the match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you go back to AEW's first year and their first few shows and like the Cody Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes match.
That was the first match. That was exactly what I was thinking in my head right now was Dustin Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes in that.
Dude, that was one of the finest matches that
I think
has ever been
forever
dude.
rated history.
Every bit of that match was just great. You know what I mean? It's fucking bloody as fuck, but I think they did it right.
Yeah.
And now, man, it's like everything that Cody does, everything that Cody has done, everything that Cody keeps doing. That's why I'm so terrified about this Malachi Black thing, because I've enjoyed Aleister Black since, you know, when he was I liked his shit when he was Tommy End before he ever even went to fucking NXT. And I'm so worried because Cody, like that whole QT Marshall shit, like that's like a whole other gimmick that popped off in, you know, the 80s that he basically kind of redid, except for the one in the 80s was over the span of like a year and a half, and Cody banged that shit out in 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, bruh, there's no like, and then it was just all this shit with QT, and then like I'm just gonna fucking kill QT every time, and I don't think QT won any of those matches.
Well, I know nobody takes QT seriously.
Well, and QT's been around for a long fucking time, and he's not a bad wrestler at all. He's a great wrestler. He's smooth. You know what I mean? Like he's just got great in-ring work, and like it sucks that he looks the way he does. I guess it's probably his one big drawback. I imagine.
Fucking potato.
Yeah, people can't really get behind him because he ain't got the face. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's just not got the fucking look, I guess, is really what's always been. I mean, thank God he started shaving his fucking head.
He got
those hair.
He got those hair plugs.
And then he got the hair plugs.
I think it's
a lot better.
Is it better? I don't know, man.
Is it better? I don't know. But you know, so he fucking buried QT Marshall in this huge angle that they were doing that should have, like, I don't know, had a little more payoff for QT than that. And it's like then Cody like does the Anthony Ogogo shit, like,
And
and
where is
just
Anthony Ogogo, by the way?
oh well, Cody Rhodes killed him,
I guess.
buried him.
Buried him.
He's
Cody Rhodes buried him. Anyways.
somewhere under Daly's place, just fucking rotting away.
Rotting away.
If he's smart, he went back to fucking Britain and started boxing again. Cause, dude, he could have been fucking great, and he was getting over in that match, and Cody just fucking smashed him. And it's like, why? What was the point of even this? It was 2 weeks.
I don't know. I didn't never.
It was like 2-3 weeks of story, and that was it. 2-3 weeks, and now this Malachi Black thing is happening, and
Tell
me
me
and
why,
Robert.
Hold on. Tell me why Malachi Black is here, or why he's going for Cody Rhodes. Tell me why.
Because Cody Rhodes ain't got nothing else going on.
But I mean, give me a fucking story. Give me something.
No, I mean, well, where else
Something
could you
about
put
a
him?
fucking horse, I think. I remember
Oh,
something
he's
about a
talking about the horse is Dustin Rhodes. You got to go back and watch that promo. It's actually really good. Like, it's a big like metaphor for, you know, how Cody was basically like ending his brother's career and shit. It's pretty wild, dude. You need to go back and listen to it. But
Yeah.
but where else are you gonna put him?
I don't know. That also makes me worry what they're gonna put CM Punk in as, or what they're gonna do with Daniel Bryan, and
Because what else is going on? Okay, so you have the Forever feud with the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle,
yeah,
which there is apparently no end in sight for that.
I guess.
Because yeah, that's just a thing that's gonna happen for forever. I don't know.
I mean, we got what, 3 more weeks of challenges, so almost a month to go. Then we'll get the payoff in a month, I guess.
Is it 5 labors?
5 labors. So we got the Juice next.
Oh, I guess so. The 5th labor is going to be at the pay-per-view.
Is the 5th labor at the pay-per-view? I thought it was the 5 labors to get to wrestle MJF
Him at the pay-per-view. Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's why I'm saying a month out. So we got the 3 more labors and then the pay-per-view.
Man, I'm into the fucking Juventud thing though.
Yeah, that was very clever. Oh, you remember?
I'll tell you
I
what.
learned how to Google, and I figured
Juice?
it out.
Yeah, Juice
Have
is
you
still out
watched
there
it?
doing the thing.
Have you seen his Twitter? Have you
To
seen
MJF?
No, Juice. Who?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's playing all into this.
Yeah, it's great, dude.
Yeah. Good
I
stuff.
love the Jews. He is a wild man. Dude's a fucking maniac, really, in real life. So I'm excited to see how this match goes down. I really don't think Jericho. I think it's gonna be botchy. I think it's gonna be real botchy. Jericho,
Everything with Jericho's been botchy lately, so I mean,
man, it's just rough. It's like, and I think a lot of it boils down to production because he's so used to how clean WWE's production is.
yeah.
And you cannot fuck with it, dude. They've been doing it for fucking what, almost 40 fucking years now or some shit. Like Raw's been running 30 years or something, right? More than that,
Something
longer
like
than that.
But I mean,
Almost
we're
30
what,
years.
3 years into AEW?
And I get that. I get that they took it.
I remember how bad it was at the beginning.
Well,
Remember
because
how bad
okay,
production was in like the first couple
Well,
months.
it's wild again now because over the length of, you know, the pandemic era shit, they were all getting used to the hard cam being moved.
Yeah.
To where
Yeah. And now they're back at.
And now they're back to that other hard cam, and all these dudes have switched to where, you know, the fucking money shot is facing away or sideways, or you know what I mean? They're not they're forgetting that the hard cam's moved again. And I've noticed that some cats in WWE were doing the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like
Now that
they're not
back on.
they're like,
they're
oh
not at the
shit, the
Thunderdome
fucking hard
anymore.
cam. Oh yeah, I forgot the hard cam's back over there
Yeah.
now. But man, I mean, production's always kind of been one of a little issue with me with AEW. And I get like the first year was them like just trying a bunch of shit out and being like, well, this is new, let's do this. They never done this, let's do this.
Yeah.
I do like that they fucking implement the bird's eye camera every once in a while, the one that looks straight down.
Yeah.
I enjoy the fuck out of that camera view. NWA used to do it a lot, and AWA used to do it a lot back in the day.
But which was easy for them because they had the studio. Studio wrestling.
Well, no, I mean, even they did it even in live events, like fucking Flair for the Gold or whatever. Ric Flair and Harley Race in the cage when Ric Flair won the championship. Fucking, they had the bird's eye view. They hit a bunch of dope camera shots on that. I was like, it's fucking. I was always up until AEW came around. Nobody was really using it anymore, and I thought it was kind of weird. I was like, I don't know why. That's a fucking great angle. Because you can really see some cool shit that you're not accustomed to seeing as far as like, you know, match mechanics and shit like that. I think it's a dope angle, but I really like that AEW is implementing it sometimes. They use it like 3 or 4 times a fucking episode, which is cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm glad they don't use the turnbuckle cams anymore.
Fuck, that thing was terrible. Terrible. They have the right idea, but I think if they moved it back and put it like, you know, the corner where the stands meet right there.
Yeah.
And either like had it hanging down from the railing or a pole coming up.
Yeah, but
it,
their barriers aren't
at that angle.
WWE's barriers. Their barriers are straight up just the metal barriers with a cloth over it, arena style. You know,
just a gate, just a metal gate.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That's dope. It's
real wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, you know, you look at GCW, there is no real.
Yeah. They just
glass flying out in the audience and shit. I mean, that is wild to me.
Yeah. How?
They're supposed to. I think they're coming to Texas in a few months, and when they do, we need to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Man, I missed going to see Fuego del Sol on Friday. I wanted to go see him. And
oh yeah, that was
Storm at Halton.
Was that at the Halton?
Yeah.
Man, that would have been a good show to go to.
God, I hope they sign Fuego del Sol to AEW. He deserves it.
That would be cool. He's a fucking dope dude. He reminds me a lot of Blitzkrieg back in the day, man.
Yeah, he is a worker.
You want to talk about somebody that's underrated and then just fell off the fucking map? Blitzkrieg was one of the greatest cruiserweights in fucking WCW, dude. Like, just great. Like, fantastic. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that Chris Jericho was ready for that shit with Nick Gage on Wednesday?
Mentally? Yes. Physically?
Do you really think he was mentally prepared? I think he had an idea. And I think he watched some of it and was like, and I don't think he watched
So was that Jericho's first hardcore match? We keep calling it a death match. It's a hardcore match. It's the same shit we were seeing back in Mick Foley, Raven.
No, they didn't ever. No, it's a little different. I think with the introduction of the fluorescent tubes and the pizza cutter, I think that takes it out of hardcore territory and into deathmatch territory.
Yeah, when there's actual blades and sharp objects.
Right, if you really want to get down to it, you know what I mean? I believe it was closer to a deathmatch than it would be a hardcore match. Hardcore match is usually just like weapons.
Yeah.
Barbed wire is like barbed
wire attacks was the hardest.
Yeah. So I mean, right. Matches. Glass is a whole different goddamn ball game, dude, because they start rolling around in that shit and it's fucking bro, when Jericho rolled over in that glass and he got up and just like every spot on his old ass back was bleeding, I was like, woo, he should not have done that. Wow.
That was
whenever, because Nick Gage always does the spot where he fucking jams light tubes in their dome and shit. Jericho was ready for it. He was all leaned out there, and fucking Nick Gage started fucking jamming. And I think he was under the impression that he was just gonna dig him in and do a little bit of this action.
A little grindage.
And he started fucking jamming them. And Chris Jericho got his fucking hands in the middle of that shit. Like, he was like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. And I'm like, dude, get your hands out of there. That is not gonna help anything when you get your fucking fingers cut off.
Yeah.
God damn, dude, it was wild. I thought it was wild because you could tell Jericho was not having fun near the end of it. Like, I'll say the last like 3 minutes of that match, Jericho's in a lot of fucking pain, and you could tell he regrets every fucking minute of that. And I don't blame him. I think if you watch like the Nick Gage and Matt Cardona match, so the Matt Cardona match was way more
The way we thought it was going to be.
right. And like Matt Cardona, you could tell Matt Cardona was uncomfortable swinging fucking light tubes on Nick Gage and putting him through. You could tell Matt Cardona was like, "Fuck, I really don't want to hurt this guy."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he didn't understand like it doesn't hurt like that, right? Like this is a whole different kind of
Hurt.
injury.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he didn't get like that whole concept of it, and you could just tell that he was uncomfortable, which is fine. It was still a great fucking match. Like I thought it was fucking amazing, and there was just so much more blood. Matt Cardona took so much more, right? And he was cut the fuck, dude. He had a diggity gash under his fucking arm, and finished that match, and you could tell he was fucking worried, right? Jericho, I think. That match was what, 15 minutes, 14 minutes, 13 minutes, something like that. It was short. It was real short.
Oh, the Jericho Gage match?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that was like 15, 17 minutes. Because we came back from break and it was already almost
Yeah.
45.
And then it cut earlier than 9 because of
MJF
MJF
about,
promo.
Yeah, promo.
The beginning of CM Punk's pipe bomb.
Yeah.
As you sit there in the ring. Yeah. That was pretty good. I do like all the little seeds
They're
fucking
playing with Darby Allin, talking about
Yeah.
if you're the greatest in the world, whatever. I hope they don't put him against Darby Allin to start.
They're gonna. And I think it should be. I think if anybody's going to be wrestling Darby Allin, I think it should be Daniel Bryan. My whole thing though is like, is the Ethan Page Darby Allin feud over with?
I guess.
Is that over with?
I guess. I mean, they'll probably just take Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page and put them on Elevation, or I mean, they got to figure out what they're going to do when they start running Rampage, because they got to put their top guys on that.
So, look, dude, do you feel like the storylines in Dynamite should be separate from the storylines on Rampage?
No.
Do you think that the roster should carry over to all shows?
Yes. I never liked how they did that with SmackDown and Raw. Not once did I like the two different rosters. Two different championships.
I mean, fuck, dude. If they don't, what if they don't, bro? Like, how are you gonna get all of that roster on the air if you don't
add championships?
Like, no, I mean, but that's the same fucking principle. You're still gonna end up with a separation, a division. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like WWE got to a point where they were so roster thick that they had no choice. If they wanted to be able to put these people on TV and have them earning their fucking check, like, because 205 Live and Main Event, shit like that, it's not gonna get motherfuckers paid. It's not gonna get motherfuckers seen.
Well, that's like Dark and Elevation.
It's such a very niche audience that's watching 205 Live and fucking Main Event.
That same goes for Dark Elevation and Dark.
Yeah, yeah,
niche,
that's what
you know.
Yeah, so I mean, like, they needed the extra. They needed the split, and see, that's what I'm kind of worried about with AEW, with them signing all these people, especially not just people, but like
big names,
big like main event people.
Yeah,
like how watered down is, like, at some point you're gonna get to the point to where, like, why you talk about homegrown talent, but you're not pushing your homegrown talent. Like they took Adam Page out of the fucking contender spot because of this whole Bryan Danielson CM Punk shit. And to me, that's fucking terrible. Fuck that. Let fucking Adam Page push that motherfucker to the moon. Give him the fucking belt. And then let him fucking fight fucking CM Punk.
But here's the thing. I think when they do that, they want to give the belt to Adam Page. And honestly, right now, I've ever since Omega's been champion, I've always said he's going to be champion until the game comes out so he can be on the cover.
So they're really going to... Do you really think that they'll bring in CM Punk and let him take the belt off of Kenny Omega?
No.
Do you think they'll let Bryan Danielson come in and take the belt off of Kenny
No,
Omega?
I don't think they'll let either of them.
Okay.
I think they'll keep the belt on Omega until the game comes out, and then they'll take it off and then Adam Page will do it. We'll take it off of him, and he'll be the AEW homegrown champion. You know, not an ex WWE guy, not all this other stuff.
Well, no, I mean dude, I kind of understand why they've like pumped the brakes on Adam Page throughout this whole thing because he deserves the audience pop. He deserves that audience to get behind him because when he does win that belt, dude, shit's gonna go fucking
madhouse.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
And
So I mean,
I don't think that's gonna happen until after the video game comes out. Which is next year. And so
you're probably right.
So let Omega run his little fucking thing with all of his other championship belts. Lose one here, pick one up here, whatever. Keep the AEW belt on him. Send Daniel Bryan after him. Send fucking CM Punk, which I don't think they're going to do. I don't think they're going to put in, just like they didn't do it with Christian. They didn't sit here and say, first things first, go for Omega with Christian. They're letting him play out through the mid card, and I think they'll do the same for both with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. They'll let him play. They're already hinting at a Daniel CM Punk and Darby Allin thing. So, I mean, I don't think they'll send them after Omega automatically, and if they do, they're not going to win it, and then they'll get bumped back down to the mid card to be a draw for the next couple years, and then let Adam Page get the fucking championship off Omega, and then have CM Punk take it off of Adam Page, or have somebody else, play it from there. But I think the next big thing is Adam Page taking the title off of Omega after the game comes out, and then it's just going to start a whole new series of awesome AEW television.
I mean, like I said, dude, the last months has been fucking pretty good, dude. I mean, I wish some things got better. I wish the women's matches were just a little more.
Well, there's 3 names on the table right now that I think would be a great addition, and might spice up the women's division to where it's a lot better.
Who?
The Iconics and Ruby Riott. I keep hearing.
I think. Okay. So she's apparently Ruby Soho now.
Yeah, Ruby Soho, which is awesome.
So I think she would be. I think she would be a good addition, just because, dude, she's a fucking workhorse.
Yeah.
And she's just really good in the ring. I think. Have they brought any WWE chicks into AEW?
No,
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, it could be a really
Swole wrestled on something once.
She was in the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah.
And I think she won the first round and lost her second match, I believe. I'll have to go back and look, but I think that's how it went down.
But no, I don't think there's any ex-WWE girls on the roster, no.
I know there's a few chicks that cycled through NXT and shit and then ended up in AEW, but I don't really count that as
as being a WWE superstar.
Right. Like Ruby Soho, she would be a strong addition. Just because I think she could really work with those women. And as much as Dustin Rhodes has done, I don't think he has the ability to connect with them like they need. Right? Like they are still just looking at him probably this daddy figure. coach, trainer.
Why did you say that? And I watched Sammy Guevara's vlog, and there's a whole bit with him being daddy, and now I just can't. Oh, poor girls. Anyways,
But I think that she could really help that women's division a lot, and she would be great to go against Britt Baker. I think she would just make that entire women's division stronger. And that's really the thing that pisses me off the most about that women's division is because they have dude, it's just crazy how much talent they actually have in that women's division sitting right there. They just don't know how to utilize it. They don't know how to. It's like they're not doing enough just drills of like running the ropes, flat back bumps, shit like that. They're just not doing the work. They're not doing the homework, I suppose, to put it all together. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like they have, like very rarely, dude, is there a clean. Serena Deeb has some great matches, but she was an NWA chick. I mean, now she's AEW.
Dow's Thunder Rosa's fully signed on.
Yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, and Thunder Rosa, like, she has great matches, but man,
Thunder Rosa.
that woman is stiff.
Yeah.
Real stiff.
That's probably the reason I like her so much.
Well, yeah, dude, but it's crazy. All her first few matches in NWA, I was like, God damn, why are you kicking them so hard? And they just kept talking about her MMA background, and I'm like, oh, well, that explains that, yeah. No, that makes sense. I get it now.
So yeah,
But,
Ruby Soho and the Iconics. They're saying Iconics might come in. Word is they'll come in and be a posse to Britt Baker, which I don't think is a smart idea. But
no, dude, don't build a woman's faction. Can we just not do any more factions?
wait, didn't we?
Didn't we
try that with
Brandy Rhodes?
Brandy Rhodes did that.
Thank God that thing. Nobody.
Whatever happened to that bald chick that shaved her fucking head for that?
That was it.
Where did she go?
They brought in Awesome Kong. Like, dude, that was a whole fucking thing for like a couple months. They tried to shove that thing down our throats. And it was terrible. And I think they all realized that it was fucking terrible. And then Brandy got pregnant. And then thankfully it went away with Mae Young's hand. And we never spoke about it ever.
Never speak about it again.
We never spoke about it ever again.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And everybody knows it was terrible. And we should never, ever, ever, ever go back to try that again. But yeah, what happened to her? I don't even remember her name. No. I know she was an independent wrestler, and I know that she was pretty good. But I can't remember who she was, and I don't know what happened to her. Has it been just the long, arduous process of growing her hair back until they put her back on TV? So everybody's like, "Oh yeah, hey, it's that bald chick again." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or they don't realize it, or they're like, "Oh, that's not the same person at all."
So you know, like going back and watching like What Culture and Cultaholic videos and shit like that, I've caught back up to like the years, the CM Punk years that I missed.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that Serena Deeb
was with Luke Gallows and CM Punk.
As like his straight edge society, right?
Yeah.
And they shaved her fucking head.
They did.
I didn't know that. And I was like, oh, that's fucking Vince McMahon, dude. I swear to God, that guy is just terrible.
Well, they did it. And I mean, I don't know. I think Tony Khan had anything to do with that. I think that was all Brandy Rhodes.
Oh, you absolutely goddamn know it was all Brandy Rhodes. You know it was. And it's crazy, man. Like, that's really one of my problems too, is that it's a lot of gimmick. It's a lot of story retreads. Like, they do shit from years gone by and they do it again. I guess they have a younger fan base, so I can kind of see them getting away with it. But it goes back to the whole Cody Rhodes QT thing. You're banging out these could be, would be, should be great fucking stories in no time. And you're getting you're getting like it did nothing. It made Cody look like an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, he already has all the pyro. His entrance is the best.
Well, he doesn't come out of either of the entrances. He comes out the one in the middle that rises from the stage like he's the fucking all being.
Yeah, he's the man.
He's the man.
Cody Rhodes is the fucking man. And that's really like my whole goddamn problem. I think it's like he's gonna bury Malachi Black.
I hope.
I
not.
just know. I just
hope
know it in my.
not.
I just know it deep down, bro, that he is just gonna kill him.
I hope Malachi Black kills
I
him and
don't
lets
get
him
it.
go spend time with his new daughter for a couple of months. That would be nice.
Me and Robert were talking about this the other day, and I was like, if they're smart, like they'll run this thing with Cody Rhodes, right? And they'll do like a trilogy of matches and let it culminate at let the rubber match be at let the third match be at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Right, so they have 3 weeks up until then.
Well, this has been going on for 3 weeks already, and there's no
but I mean, it's just been like some.
promo
They're just.
stuff.
It's been a lot of like, kind of.
But there's been no
little
matches
segments.
yet.
Right,
at
so
all.
that's what I'm saying. It's like pop this week off, and let's have a Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes match. No interference, no run-ins, no bullshit like that, and have Malachi just beat Cody Rhodes. Just clean in the ring, beat him, right? And so it makes Malachi look, like a fucking legitimate monster. Go on to next week. No match, right? At all. Okay? Have Cody Rhodes be cutting a promo, and then Malachi come fuck him up again in the backstage or at the announcer table. Like what happened last week. Like he's been doing, right? Go to the next week, right? And then the next weekend is the pay-per-view.
So let Cody get a win.
No, fuck no. Do not let Cody get a win.
Bury him all 3 matches?
Yeah, let everybody go into the pay-per-view thinking Cody's going to win this third one of the pay-per-view. Right? Have Malachi win this next match, but not as decisive. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe a little shenanigans.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a strong maybe, dude. Like, I would really just have him beat Cody again. Right? And then have there be some wild stipulation, like a no DQ match or something like that. Right? And then at the pay-per-view. And then have fucking Malachi Black just murder him. No help. No iffy bullshit.
Make Malachi Black an entity.
Take Cody Rhodes off of
fear.
TV. Yeah. Take Cody Rhodes off of TV.
For at least a couple months.
At least a couple months.
Yeah.
2-3 months. 2-3 months. And then let Cody come back and get in Malachi's Black shit again.
Oh,
come back.
Bitches.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I've been training.
This time he can come in an actual Highlander.
And he could film a little Rocky montage of him training in the fucking, in the Alpine.
In the Aspens.
In Aspen, Colorado, up in the mountains.
Snow, all white. Everything's got to be white right now.
Yeah, carrying logs and shit up mountains. Like, he would love that shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Fucking.
Yeah. Eye of the Tiger playing in the background, all that shit. Like, they could. And then Malachi Black could go on to be in talks for, like, I don't know, the TNT Championship, the FTW Championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It would be nice to see the FTW Championship taken off of an FTW guy.
And if they're still doing the U.S. Heavyweight Championship, fucking the IWGP one.
Yeah. Because he'd be really good going over to Japan.
Bruh, do you know what Aleister Black, like Malachi Black and Tanahashi in a match? I don't know. I don't know, dude. That's like
You know what I just realized?
Way up there on the list of shit I'd really, really, really like to see.
I just realized they haven't shown Malachi Black outside of a suit.
I wonder what his ring gear is going to be like.
I mean, are they going to show his back piece and all that stuff? Because if they do, just wait. When he comes out without a suit on for the first time, all tatted up like that, it's going to pop.
Yeah.
He's going to look like a monster.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Dude, I just hope they do it right, man. I'm really worried that they're just going to fuck him off.
I hope not, man.
And that's my problem, dude. It's like, I don't know, like, a lot of it's misbooked. A lot of them.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying what they're doing with Christian right now, but that's a whole another story for another week.
Dude, I really didn't need another Christian Matt Hardy match in my life.
No.
I've seen it so many times.
So what all do we have coming up this week?
What is this week? I don't know what's happening on Raw. It's been fucking terrible. This whole Bobby Lashley Goldberg shit is just fucking terrible. Why'd they even bring Goldberg back?
To promote his new YouTube channel, probably.
I don't care. I stopped giving a fuck about Goldberg when they hit him with a cattle prod. Seriously. I was so over it then. And then when everybody was like, oh, everybody was like, oh, we're gonna get fucking Goldberg versus Stone Cold in the invasion angle. I didn't give a fuck about it then. I was like, who cares? Nobody gives a fuck about Goldberg. The dude cannot wrestle. Still.
Never could.
Still. 20-something years. This motherfucker's been wrestling. And he still cannot have a solid match. He has to be carried through a match. And dude, after that shit with the Undertaker in fucking Saudi Arabia, where he damn near killed him. That was
the
fucking ugly, dude. And after that, I never wanted to see him in the fucking ring again. After that, I barely wanted to see the Undertaker in the ring again, and he's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
It's like it was just ugly, dude. Just ugly. At least Undertaker got his shit together enough after that to have a pretty good run of matches till he retired.
So we got John Cena and Roman Reigns going after each other.
That shit was disgusting. And that was the worst part of SmackDown for me. Straight the fuck up. That whole contract signing debacle. I was like, man, this is kind of cool that he's just telling Cena to like, hey, fuck you. Like, you're not getting this at all. Not at all. And then I thought he was really going to like sign the contract with Finn Balor. I was like, man, that's going to be a dope ass match. They're going to have a banging match. And then Baron Corbin runs out in his ketchup stained shit ass button up, looking just morose as hell. and fucking acts like he's gonna fucking sign the contract for way too long. Just long enough for Cena to hit it and come in there and act like a douchebag and sign that shit with a giant Sharpie. I was mad, dude. I was big upset after that. I was just like, fuck, man, I really didn't want to see Roman Reigns and John Cena. I really don't want to see John Cena. That's another thing, bro. Like, out of the Ruthless Aggression era, John Cena was my least favorite thing.
Yeah.
Period. I was not a big fan of the Ruthless Aggression era in any way.
I've always been a John Cena sucks kind of guy myself.
Yeah. It's not cool.
I'm just not digging anything that WWE's doing at all. I'd rather watch indie shit and AEW.
I mean, SmackDown has been outside of this John Cena shit, which I think is stupid because Roman Reigns is having a great fucking run with his heel turn. SmackDown's been really good. I like a lot of the shit that's happening on SmackDown. I enjoy watching it, you know. And that's really, I guess, how I judge all of the shit that I watch is, do I enjoy it? And, like, do I get lost in the product? when I watch Raw, I'm like every time I'm just like groaning because it's terrible.
I find myself playing video games
Yeah,
instead.
yeah, bro. Yeah, I'll
Keeping
end
it
up on
on
my
in the background.
I'll end up cruising Facebook and shit instead of watching Raw because it's just terrible.
Yeah.
And I let it just droll on in the fucking background. And it's like I try to pay attention to what the fuck's happening, but it's like fuck, dude. Like outside of the Bobby Lashley shit, like what's really happening on Raw? Nothing. Not a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Not anything. Not anything that's substantial that has any fucking meaning. And then you look at SmackDown, and there's some pretty good fucking storylines going on. All the Big E shit, like Apollo Crews, Roman Reigns outside of the scene of shit.
Is that full?
Like,
Is Apollo Crews still doing that African warlord thing?
I cannot believe that is what they that's what they landed on. They were like, "Hey man,
Hey man, coming to America too is just now coming out on Amazon Prime. We got an idea.
Can you do a really shitty African accent? Because we really need you to do a shitty African accent.
Not a good
And
one.
it's a bunch of old white dudes and chicks in the back going, "Let's hear it." And he does that shit, and they're like, "Fuck yeah, that sounds amazing." Never
Perfect.
actually heard somebody from Africa try to speak English before. Because it's like, it's weird, man. Because every once in a while he sounds like maybe he's from New Zealand. And you're like, that's not quite African, I don't think. But
Sure.
okay.
We'll go with it. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
nothing on. Like I said, there's very little to WWE that I find interest in right now.
It is hard sometimes to get behind the product. Dude, NXT is great. NXT is always great. And it sucks that Finn Balor's not on NXT anymore because I really did enjoy that run. But Samoa Joe got re-signed to Active Competition. So it's going to be him and Karrion Kross. Dude. Joe.
Yeah.
I'm fucking stoked because Samoa Joe, like, bruh, if you have not watched Samoa Joe versus Necro Butcher, I highly suggest when we're done here that you just go, and I think it's on YouTube. You can just look it up. It's one of the most brutal things you'll ever see in your motherfucking life, and it's probably one of the best death matches that I've ever seen. It's great. But Samoa Joe
versus Necro Butcher.
So it's like that shit. I'm excited to see Samoa Joe. And I know he's toned as fuck. Like, he can't do the Muscle Buster anymore since he broke Tyson Kidd. So, I mean, I get it that he's toned his style down quite a bit, but he's still got a really strong style, and I like it. And I like watching him wrestle. And I'm excited for it.
Yes.
So NXT's always got great matches.
Yeah.
The problem with NXT isn't the matches. It's always like me caring about the matches.
Mostly it's because they still treat it like a second-rate product. WWE does.
Damn near third.
Yeah. They need to spotlight it better.
Yeah. I think they deserve a lot. I think they deserve a lot more credit than they get, dude. NXT has been putting on solid matches for years. Yeah. And they have the best women's division in, like, second to fucking none, dude. I'd put them right over there with Joshi and Stardom all day long. They have a great women's division. Great. They always have great matches. For sure. Like, and their roster's packed. They have their whole roster, and not even just NXT UK. Their roster's packed too. And it's always clean, great matches. And they have a completely different style than Raw and SmackDown. Just the style of matches is closer to like New Japan and the Indies than it is, overly produced WWE.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it is. That's really all. I think that's the biggest problem for me with WWE programming is it's just so overproduced. Like, they have to hit these spots. They have to do these moves. They have to, you know what I mean? Like, these things have to happen in these matches. It's not the wrestlers being all right, and then I'm gonna hit this signature move, and then I'm gonna hit this signature move, and then that's the agents in the back and creative and shit telling them like, all right, so and then here you're gonna do this, and then you're gonna do this, and then you're gonna do this, and then you're gonna do this.
Yeah. Well,
But
everything.
then but then you run into AEW, and a lot of the problem there is there's not somebody overseeing the matches, telling them like, hey,
They're letting them
maybe
do everything.
yeah, maybe this time you shouldn't hit all of these moves. You know what I mean? Like when he starts hitting your leg, really sell the leg. That means, you can't really hit no high flying spots no more. Young Bucks.
Damn.
Because, dude, they are one of the biggest problems that I fucking have with. For one thing, their heel turn is disgusting. I don't like it.
It's so
Matt
gross.
Jackson.
But it's such a gross heel turn. It's working.
Man, it's not, dude. Like it's not good heat for me. I'm not like
It's cringe
feeling
heat. It's cringe heat as
it.
well.
Oh, dude, and like I don't even want to watch them wrestle. I just don't, man, because it's the same match over and over again. And now it's Matt Jackson's shit ass faces that he makes. And
yeah, that's all it is too.
And consistent overselling. He oversells everything with a shitty face. And it's like I don't like facial expressions. I don't like the way you move in the ring now. I get that you're trying to be a heel, but for some reason in his mind he thinks that heel is HBK versus Hogan forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, HBK was shitting on Hogan during that match. Like that's not what that was. That's not heel psychology. That's Shawn Michaels being an asshole. That's not, you know what I mean? That's not the blueprint you want to look at when you're trying to be a fucking heel. You know what I mean? Like there's a vast number of other motherfuckers that they can look at and be like, hey, maybe this is kind of more what we should do. There's a way to be a shitty heel, dude, like, and not be that. Yeah, man, it's just like the overselling is what it bothers me. Like he just oversells everything, and like it's like, why the fuck are you? And ultimately, a heel's job is to make the baby face look good, no matter what, win, lose, or draw. The baby face is supposed to come out looking, smelling like a rose.
Yeah.
Like $1,000,000, right? Like even if they lost, you're supposed to have sympathy for them. Be like, oh, that's bullshit.
Well, heels don't win fairly.
No, right? I mean, they're not supposed to, and if they do, it's because the story means something more, right? Like it's at that point, it's personal, right? Like then it's the back and forth. Are they going to win? Are they going to lose? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And that's usually like, you go back and you look at like the Benoit Angle matches, right? Like it was always back and forth with them. It didn't matter who was the heel and who was the face. It was a competition thing at that point in time. And that's always like a beautiful little angle to throw in matches if the characters are right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think that's, I don't know. I just feel like they need to have somebody like kind of overseeing it and not letting motherfuckers get carried away. Dial it back a little bit. Save some of that shit. If you're just having the same match week after week after week, and I'm not talking about just the Young Bucks. I'm talking about a lot of the roster. If you're just having the same match week after week after week after week, why do the pay-per-views mean anything other than title changes? And now actually pay-per-views don't really even mean anything for title changes because they be doing that shit on TV. For free. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like why do I care? What are you going to show me that's new in this pay-per-view that's going to make me excited? Is there going to be anything that makes me excited? Or
it's all the same stuff you're putting on TV every week. Why do I care?
Exactly. And that's really my biggest issue with the whole thing. It's like I've watched Orange Cassidy fucking have fucking amazing matches in the past few weeks and shit. And like his gimmick and his character, they should be saving those long wars for pay-per-views, protecting that gimmick. You know what I mean? It's one of their most popular gimmicks that they have, one of the most popular characters on their roster. And they have him wrestling and shit too much, I think, on TV. And don't get me wrong, I love to see the motherfuckers matches. Straight up. Like I enjoy it. You have sold me on Orange Cassidy because you know how I felt about it 2-3 years ago, right? I thought it was more of a comedy gimmick.
Yeah, you didn't think but when he wrestled Pac is what sold you, I think. Match between him and Pac, he showed the world that he was more than just a gimmick, wrestler.
But then you think about that too, all right? So you look at some of his matches with some of the other. You look at some of his other matches with some of the rest of the roster that isn't quite as trained, seasoned.
Yeah.
Not as great of a match. Orange Cassidy still does his best, and he always does great, I think. But sometimes, like, it's the people that fail him, right? Like they can't keep up.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's a lot with a lot of the stuff you see on Dark and Evolution or whatever it is, Dark Elevation.
Elevator Nation. A lot of that is really hard for me to watch because I'm a big fan of independent wrestling and the indies and the independent promotions. So when I see cats that I enjoy watching in the indies come, like, dude, like Matthew Justice and shit, like, he's one of my favorite dudes off of GCW, and he just lost like shit in AEW, and I was just like, man, this sucks.
The way they did our boy Zicky Dice,
the way they did Zicky Dice,
man.
The way they did Zicky Dice, like Lance Archer just fucking murdered that dude.
It was outlandish.
It was outlandish. It was outlandish, and he deserved better. And I thought, man, like a character like that is perfect for AEW, and I don't understand why they didn't keep him around, because he would have fit right in. He would have been a very good, like, in between for other shit. You know what I mean?
Very good mid Carter.
He could have been like their version of R-Truth, right? As far as, like, you know what I mean, like how he's here and there, or Riddle.
Bro.
I see what you did there. But yeah, like, that's kind of, they really could have utilized him a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know. And some of the people that they have brought on that I do enjoy, I don't like Aaron Solo. He doesn't feel that. I think they could have made better choices than him, bringing him on, or what? Just anybody in Nick Camarado. There's better choices out there in the indie scene than just put these people on TV, I think.
I mean, I don't know. I like Nick Camarado, and I think if they book him right.
They're not. That's the point, though, but they're not.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's been a fucking pretty good week in wrestling. It's a great time in wrestling.
Period. Yeah.
In general. I'm kind of interested to see how the rest of the week goes. I mean, we got Raw tomorrow and everything else after that. So
I'll be watching Elevation tomorrow in Dark, and then AEW on Wednesdays. We get the Uva.
And I think next week we'll start reviewing it kind of week by week.
Yeah.
And I Eventually, maybe we might have a little more help. Might just be us. You never know.
Who knows? We might have guests eventually.
But
Every once in a while. But yeah, so make sure you hit that like, subscribe, hit the
and
share it, yeah, and hit that notification, and we will see you here next week. Y'all have a good one.
Peace. All right.
Check them off like a wish list. You fighting a titan. Yeah. I got a bullet in the chamber just ready to strike him.
If I told him once, I told him enough. I'm out the heads, there's no discussion, not a game nor a bluff. Yo, I would go insane just to make a point and leave him stuck. And the point of the matter is that all these niggas is butt. Do the water backsplash, funky mouth ass niggas that still talking shit. Mad cause I ain't hung up my mic and called it quits while they slept. I was up through the night, plotting to get rich. No black forces, not hitting no licks. What? Cause niggas fold like steel chairs. Amped up that drip in they neck, got them yelling like Ric Flair. Please beware this mighty boot to their chest, leave them gasping for air. No Vader, but I'm here to bomb shit like Big Van Vader, but black. Fuck around and put motherfuckers' heads in the bag like I was slack. Cause these stupid motherfuckers really don't get the message. This the best little wrestling podcast in Texas. Motherfuckers.
Check them off like a wish list.
Yeah.
You fighting a titan.
Cause these stupid motherfuckers really don't get the message.
I got a bullet in the chamber just ready to strike him.
Yeah.
Check them off like a wish list. You fighting a titan.
This the best little wrestling podcast in Texas.
I got a bullet in the chamber just ready to strike him.
Yeah.
You fight the titan. This the This the best little wrestling podcast in Texas. Check them off like a wish list.